All right, folks, welcome. Today we're going to run through why objections that you run into are going to always start with budget and why that budget objection is nonsense. If you're selling into the enterprise world, then you know the number one thing you run into is, it's just not in the budget. And the reality is when enterprise deals stall and budget is the reason given, it's the excuse. Founders hear this, they don't have budget, and they think their price was too high, or they think their timing was wrong. And the reality is that is rarely the truth. Budget objections appear when the justification is weak, meaning they don't see the need to buy what you're selling. They don't see the value at the price level you're offering in exchange, meaning what you're charging them, it's not commensurate. So it's not the money that has disappeared. It's the conviction. They don't have it. If they don't have the conviction that you can help them, they're not going to have the budget. And hence, they roll that out. Because when your buyers can't grasp why this matters now, what is the risk of them waiting rather than buying your thing? They're going to wait. Budget becomes the safe exit. Budget is the simplest thing because you can't argue that, right? You don't know what their budget actually is, where their spend is internally, and they know this. So budget becomes the shield that buying committees use. It stops all the conversation without the confrontation. In big business, relationship is everything. And so you preserve that. And the best way to preserve the relationship is to hide behind the budget. It requires no further delay, right? There's no debate. That delay just ages like a fine wine into the no that they weren't going to tell you then and there. If you're a founder, if you've been selling into any of the big institutional infrastructure, fintech, legal, anything that has compliance departments, if you sell into that world, then you know what I'm talking about. Discounting your thing won't solve this, right? Because the founders will often say, well, they'll lower the price. They will institute a pilot program so you can feel it out. We'll propose a phased rollout. That's one of my favorites. None of this removes the objection because the objection is about the value here. The buyer can't justify the original decision. You haven't armed them properly to do that. So lowering the cost doesn't fix the logic. There's a buyer logic problem here. Here's what's actually happening. You need a defensible way to give them the why now, right? Otherwise, for them, spending feels risky. So here's the test. If the buyer had to explain internally, not to you, to their people, why you deserve budget now, could they? Meaning, you're not going to be in the room and they need to be able to defend why this matters, that their own company needs to take action. Can they do that? If it sounds optional in any way, shape, or form, then budget becomes the cover. It's the excuse. But the truth, budget doesn't exist, right? If budget is the reason, they didn't see the value. Unless your sales narrative addresses this, you have to make the action defensible, then the money will always become the excuse. And what do I mean by that? I mean, the sales narrative isn't what you tell them. That's the pitch. The narrative is the story that they will tell internally upstream. Remember, selling at the enterprise level happens when you're not in the room. This seems to shock many founders. I've been on many a visit, 30 years of Wall Street, sitting in an oak panel boardroom in Scotland, and I make the pitch to the presentation to the hedge fund. And I think it went great, but when I'm gone, what do you think those 3 or 4 folks do? They chit chat. And that's the sale right there. Either that was a compelling story and he's right, or it's interesting, neat, keep in touch with them. One of those two is happening with you. So if you want to diagnose whether your budget is the real issue or not, you can hop on a diagnostic call with me. I'm happy to chat with you. There's no cost to this. But the reality is you're going to hear budget, expect it, and know that it's the excuse. It's the lie. And your job is to have a narrative that overcomes that so you don't have to. That's all I got for you, folks. Peace out.